this morning is going to shine a light on the answer to that question. Nancy Velda is a highly skilled saleswoman, entrepreneur, and speaker. She is proud to be a Jack Canfield certified speaker and trainer. Nancy has been nationally recognized for reaching over $1 million in sales for the Pampered Chef. Today, Nancy is in high demand for her ideas, speaking expertise, and entrepreneurship. Her presentations are focused on how to get from where you are to where you want to be, go for the goal, superior sales secrets, and Canfield's success principles. Nancy guides her participants to have and live the life of their dreams. Nancy has helped entrepreneurs, teams, and businesses achieve superior results. Nancy's keynote, Go for the Goal, will jumpstart any project, personal or professional. Please join me in welcoming Nancy Velda.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I hope you're having a good day, even though it's pretty early. I want to thank you for that introduction. I wrote it. Okay, how's that? I thanked her for the introduction and then said I wrote it. A little bit about myself. I am a mother of 4, a grandmother of 6. I am a retired registered nurse. I am a calligrapher and an actor and a singer. So now you can tell that I'm very right and left brained. There's no traffic lights up here. None whatsoever. Oh, I did every diet and fat farming clinic, but now I won't buy it, 'cause now I'm a cynic. I still wear a double D bra. I despise the size of my thighs. After huffing and puffing 2 months at the spa, they gave me the booby prize. Sometimes I really resent all the time and the trouble I've spent on the potions and lotions, physicians, beauticians. God, it's a crime, but I've tried one last time, and I went to the best Lincoln Park West dietitian. Oh, I can't lose weight. No, I can't lose weight. It's glandular, I fear, or else it's just my fate. I'd be thin if discipline were something I ate. Oh, I can't lose weight. No, I can't lose weight. How many of you hooked onto the word discipline? How many times a day do you either say, hear, or think the word discipline? Well, my presentation today is going to help you avoid the word discipline and instead focus on your weight loss journey. And it is a weight loss journey. I happen to be a lifelong member of the weight loss journey. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a hand. She got a little hand. I'm going to give you a hand and help you navigate this weight loss journey. I understand that the theme here today is Lighthouses Light Your Way. To shine your brightest light is to be who you truly are. So let's have a little bit of fun. Check this out. There was a spider, now it's gone. Do you see the dog ate the whole door? I'm no cook, but I can follow directions which said, leave the bird in the sink, a few hours to chill. I appreciate your text, Kate, but the next time you should just raise your hand. I'm going to urge each and every one of you to take 100% responsibility for every single thing that you do. The outcomes in your life are the direct result of the responses that you have made. The responses to outside forces, your thoughts. This is very, very important, and this would probably be the keynote of my talk today. taking 100% for your life and your results. You cannot hire someone else to do your push-ups. Okay? And that was said by Jim Rohn. A simple equation to follow is E plus R equals O. And that stands for event plus response equals outcome. Something that you should either note, take down, and remember. Because every single time you are faced with a decision, you need to consider the event, your response, and your outcome. If you don't like your outcomes, then there's only a couple of things that you can be blamed for. You can blame the event, or the incident, or you can change your response to it. Very, very important. If you don't like the outcome that you're experiencing, you can simply change your response to it. So, let's say something like, I am very, very far back in my bills. I'm being foreclosed on. Anything like that, okay? That's the event. Now your response could be that you just leave the country, and the outcome would be that they take your house. All right. But flip that around. You could seek additional funds. You could ask families, you could ask friends, you could set up a GoFundMe page, but that would be your response, and the outcome would be that you keep your house. Okay? There are only 3 things that you have any control over. Just 3 things. And those are your thoughts, the images that you have in your head, and the way you behave. Now, I've used that graphic for the last one, the way you behave, because that also means the things that you say. Every outcome that you've experienced in life, whether it's success, failure, poverty, wealth, health, illness, is the result of how you responded to a specific event. So think for a minute before you ever act. Think about how your response will actually lead to the outcome of the incident. The thoughts that you think, the images that you have in your head, and your behavior. Complaining, which we all do, don't we? Go on, you know? Everybody complains. Do you know that when you complain, you are responding to a reference point of something that you would prefer? So, did you ever hear somebody complain about gravity? Little old lady walking down the street. Is she gonna say, doggone that gravity? No, because she can't do anything about it. She doesn't complain about that, and yet gravity is very important in our lives. It's keeping us on this earth, right? On the ground, that's right, on the ground. I'd like to share a little story with you. A gentleman was kneeling in the grass in his parkway, and he was on his knees looking tediously through the grass. And a passerby came, and he said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I lost my keys, and I'm looking for them." He continued sifting through the grass tediously. The passerby got down on his knees too, and he started to help him look for the keys. After about an hour of not showing up with the keys, the passerby said to the gentleman, "Are you sure you lost them here?" He said, "No, I lost them in the house, but the light's better out here." So, you need to give up all blaming, complaining, and excuse making. The only power you have is over your response. You are creating the experiences, your success, the quality of your relationships, and the quality of your health. So, I'm going to come down into the audience now. Get ready, here she comes. So, If I said to you, you have got to be the dumbest person I have ever met in my entire life. Would you, I told her, I said, you're the dumbest person I ever met in my life. Would you believe that?
Some days.
Come on, work with me here. Okay. So she knows her truth. And it all comes down to knowing your individual truth. I'm going to give you a hand for helping. I'm sorry. Oh, it's under the chair. I'll get it. Okay, what about you? No, you have a hand. I'm going to do you. You have green hair. That's your truth, isn't it? You know your truth and you know who you are. And this all comes down to your experiences, what you know, and how you behave. Here's a hand for helping me out. There was a woman in Texas whose name is Catherine Lanigan. Oh, there's the green hair. There's a woman in Texas whose name is Catherine Lanigan. Now, Catherine was a straight A student. She was in advanced placement classes. She was the editor of her newspaper and her yearbook. And she was in an advanced placement writing class with a Harvard professor. Now, she needed to complete this class to get a full ride scholarship to college. So, one of the last assignments in this class was to write a manuscript. Well, Catherine was a really gifted writer. She didn't find this difficult at all. So she went home. She wrote the best manuscript that she could write. She handed it in. And after a short while, the professor called her back into his office. And he said to her, "You cannot write. Don't ever write again. I'm going to fail you." She said, "What? I've been told I'm a gifted writer. I've been told that I can write and that my future is in writing. If you fail me, I won't get my scholarship." He said, "Okay, I'll cut you a deal. If you promise to never write again, and destroy this manuscript, I will give you a passing grade." She needed the scholarship, so she agreed to the terms. She went to college, and after college, she went and she majored in like psychology. She didn't even major in writing or journalism. After college, she went home to Texas, and she lived in a rather small town. It was so small that the inhabitants went and looked at the gas on the ground of the gas stations, the gas slicks on the bottom of the gas station. But they were filming a movie in this town. And she went down to where they were filming it, but she didn't go where the actors and the action was. Instead, she hung out with the writers and the producers. Well, one of the writers looked at her and said, "Why in the world are you hanging out with us? There's nothing going on here. All the action is down there, and so is the whole town." She said, "Well, I always wanted to be a writer." And he said, "Well, why aren't you?" And she said, "Because I was discouraged. I was told I couldn't write. And in order to pass a class so that I could get a scholarship, the professor asked me to never write again." Well, this writer looked at her and said, "This is pathetic. I'll tell you what, you go home and write something and send it to me, and I will be the judge." She went home and she wrote a manuscript. That's what she wrote. Someone who couldn't write. Do you know what? For 17 years, the world was deprived of her writing. Yeah, this here. Oh, 17 years, the world was deprived of her writing, and look what she could produce. She let somebody else tell her who she was and what she could and could not do. She had passion. She had tenacity. She hung in there. You have to have passion for what you want to achieve. Don't ever, ever, ever let anybody tell you that you have green hair or that you're dumb. You know who you are. Be who you are. Light up the world with you. Now, you can blame an event for your lack of results, and you can blame the economy, the weather, lack of money, ill health, whatever. But if that were the case, Jackie Robinson would not have played baseball. Bill Gates would not have found, what did he find? Microsoft. Steve Jobs would not have created Apple. Sidney Poitier and Denzel Washington would not have become the very highly sought after actors. So if they believed what people told them, none of their success would we be enjoying. And Lord knows we are enjoying all of their success, aren't we? Okay. Why don't people set goals? You know, I'd like to ask a couple of people, why don't people set goals? Anybody? Yes.
I think they're too afraid that they're not going to reach their goal. They weren't determined. So if you don't make one, it's like a New Year's resolution. People don't make them anymore because they know by the 1st of February they will.
She said that people make resolutions and they don't accomplish them because they don't really believe in them. They don't continue with them. Do you have an answer? No? Okay. I'd like to call a volunteer up here. Would some willing volunteer come up here for me? I'll give you a hand. Okay. So I'm going to prove to everybody here you are what you think. Okay? Now let me ask you a question. Do you have any trouble with any of your shoulders? No? Okay, good. And let's see. Are you right-handed or left-handed? Okay. Now what I'm going to do, come over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to extend your right hand. And then I'm going to put a little bit of pressure and I'd like you to resist me, okay? You have to really resist me. Fight against me. Don't let me, there you go. Don't let me do that. Okay, so let's do this. I'll show you how strong she is. You're really strong. Okay, I cannot move her, right? Okay, what is your name? Angela. Well, today you're going to be Sophie. Okay? Okay, we can call her Sophie from now on, can't we? Okay. Okay, face the audience, extend your arm, and I'd like you to tell everybody, my name is Sophie.
My name is Sophie.
Do it again? Want to do it again? Resist me. Say my name is Sophie.
My name is Sophie. Because I lied, I can't resist.
Exactly. You know what? When you think one thing, your body reacts. Want to do it again? Do you play the piano? Okay, do you play a trumpet? Okay, put your arm out. Okay, so I'll test your strength again. Good. Now tell everybody what a good trumpet player you are.
I'm a marvelous trumpet player.
That is a good example of you are what you think. And thank you for giving me a hand. There you go. Thank you, and let's have an applause for her. So why don't people set goals? Well, they were never taught how. Really, teachers, parents really didn't teach them how to set goals. They were possibly discouraged or teased when they set them. Has anybody ever felt teased or discouraged when you set a goal? Sure, it happens all the time. Fear of failure. fear of rejection. So in your weight loss journey, when you set a goal, do any of these things enter into your mind? Oh, I'm probably not going to make it. I really set this goal for so many pounds lost and I didn't make it. Probably not going to make it. Has anybody ever experienced that internal chatter? I think you have, okay? This little fellow set a goal. He didn't let anything stop him. He just kept going for it. Whether you believe you can achieve it or not, one single goal in your career, your business, your lifestyle, your relationships would quantum leap you to the next level. Now this is a little wordy and I'm going to go through it with you because this to me is probably the most important slide. And if you'll notice, I used a lot of graphics so that you wouldn't have to read too much. But I need to go through these individually with each one of you. What supports a goal becoming a reality? The first one is visualization. Does anybody here use visualization at all? Good. The first way that I would suggest that you can engage in visualization is to create a vision board. Now, a vision board should not be cluttered. It should look like a billboard, so that when you look at it, you get the message right away. I have two vision boards. One is for personal and the other one is for professional. In 2010, I attended a Jack Canfield workshop called Breakthrough to Success. And it was during that workshop that we were tasked with doing two exercises. The first one was to set up a bucket list. The second one was to create our life purpose. Ooh. Now your life purpose means that tells everybody what the footprint that you want to leave on this earth when you die. Not an easy task, especially when you're right and left brained. Oh my goodness, it took me the whole week to come up with it. Excuse me. The bucket list though, the very first thing on the bucket list was, I'm gonna sing the national anthem in Wrigley Field. Isn't that nervy? It's kind of a nervy goal, isn't it? And you know what? It popped out of my head, it became number one. And the reason for that was, my dad, I'm the oldest of 8 girls and 1 boy. Okay? And I was kind of like my dad's daughter's son. He took me to see Judy Garland, he took me to see Patty Duke, but he also took me to the Bears games and the hockey games. So being the oldest, I sort of functioned as both a daughter and a son. He had a beautiful tenor voice. And he died when he was 49 years old, leaving my mother with 6 kids at home who had never worked outside the house. I wanted to pay my dad homage. My mother was raised at Ashland and Addison, and my dad was a die-hard Cub fan before being a die-hard was fashionable. So, there it was, written down. I had to do it. I had no idea how I was going to do it. Now, I belonged to the Theater of Western Springs, and one day I was working props. I'm standing in black backstage ready to hand somebody a prop, and someone standing next to me, another props person. I was just talking to her and I said, listen, I have to sing the national anthem in Wrigley Field. She said, what? I said, yeah. I said, I have no idea how to create a CD to send it into the Cubs organization. I mean, do you have a session band come into your house? Do you have to find a studio? I had no idea. And she looked at me and she said, Nancy, my husband Willie has a recording studio in our house. That was the law of attraction in action. Okay? So I went and I cut the CD, and in 2010, I sent my CD in, and I got a very, very polite no. Thank you. So the next year, I sent it in again. And this time, I got no response. Now, one day I was driving in 2012, driving to my son's house to watch his children, and I heard Jonathan Brandmeier on WGN, and he's just a hoot. He's just a real character. And so I thought, I think that I could call him and he could get me into the Cubs organization. So I called him up and I said, Johnny, I need to sing the national anthem in Wrigley Field. And he said, okay, can you sing? And I said, I've got that covered, but I don't know how to get my foot in the door. I need a hookup. So he said to me, send me your CD, a little background about you. So I did. I told him about my dad, blah, blah, blah. Probably 2 weeks later, my girlfriend called me up and she said, Nancy, are you listening to WGN? And I said, no. And she said, you're singing the national anthem. And he played it every day for a week. Really something, okay? My peeps were calling me, wanting my autographs and different things. Anyway, about a week later, Jonathan Brandmeier's peeps called me, and they invited me to sing the national anthem on opening day. But it was in the Captain Morgan bar, not on the field. So, what did I do? I deliberated a little bit, couldn't figure out how this would advance my goal, but my husband and my family encouraged me to go ahead and do it. So at 6 a.m., I was at the Captain Morgan bar singing the national anthem. Now afterwards, we were just mingling with the players and hanging out, and all of a sudden the vice president of entertainment for the Cubs organization came in. Johnny was still on the air. And he said, where's Nancy Belda? Where is Nancy Belda? This is the guy she wants. So I left whoever I was speaking to. And I went up to this gentleman and I said, are you going to hook me up or what? Shortly after that, I got the invitation to sing the national anthem in Wrigley Field. And on August 13th, there I am. Yeah. Jack Canfield talks about a breakthrough goal. A breakthrough goal will up-level your success. A breakthrough goal is something that is so huge, it's almost unbelievable to you. It shouldn't be intimidating, but it should be really, really big. Jack Canfield calls these goals BHAGs. Big, hairy, audacious goals. Do any of you ever say, I'm just going to clean the kitchen? And then before you know it, you've waxed the floors, cleaned the windows, cleaned out the refrigerator, cleaned out the drawers, and it was just a matter of getting started. Just a matter of getting started, and that's what I'm encouraging each and every one of you to do. Just take the first step. When you're driving your car at night, and your headlights are shining about, my husband disputes this. How many feet in front of you?
100.
Okay. Your headlights are shining about 100 feet in front of you. You know where you're going to go. Will your headlights turn off when you get up to that 100-foot mark? No, they're going to light the rest of the way, and that's the way you need to react to your life. You need to trust in the first step. Martin Luther King said the first step of a stairway is the first step, and you go up. Same thing with the headlights. The headlights on your car will continue to lead the way. So don't ever think about all of the obstacles. You're going to have obstacles. You're going to have roadblocks. But you need to, and you're also going to have some considerations. And those considerations are roadblocks, failures. You need to take your considerations seriously. I'd like to share an acronym with you. The G stands for go for it and make sure you get it. O is optimize. Make the most of situations, even the bad ones. Henry Ford said, making a mistake just gives you the opportunity to try it again. That's all it really is. A stands for attitude. Your attitude is absolutely key. The way you think, the way you feel, the way you respond to everything. You have to maintain a positive attitude. L is leave room for considerations. Accept them, analyze them, and respond to them appropriately so that you achieve the outcome that you want. S, stay the course. Just stay the course. Don't give up. Because when you give up, you lose. And remember Catherine Lanigan. She was told that she could not write. And she gave up. She lost, and we lost. I said 17 years of her skills. You can choose to live your life with the joy of the front row or the solemnness of the third row. Do you see that? The two ladies in the front, their skirts are blowing up, and the ladies in the third row are just going, If you want to be happy, set a goal that commands your thoughts, liberates your energy, and inspires your hopes. Remember that an airplane takes off not with the wind, but against it. But it still rises. It still gets to where it needs to go. So envision yourself as an airplane just taking off against the wind. It doesn't stop the airplane's function. This is my contact information. Please, I mean this very sincerely, feel free to contact me for inspiration, for encouragement. I'm here for you. Check out my website. There's a lot of stuff on my website too. I'd like to leave you with a little joke. You know, Mahatma Gandhi was, he was a mystic, a well-known mystic, but he was prone to walking barefoot. And that created very large calluses on his feet. He was also prone to eating kind of strange food. So it made him a little fragile, but worst of all, it gave him halitosis. So he was known as the super fragile mystic hexed with halitosis. Thank you, everybody.